He's amazing in every way possible. I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker today, Fred Beans.
It's really an honor for me to be here. When I think about, I'm 80 years old, so I've seen an awful lot, and believe me, today, a major part of my job is just keeping up with technology. So Ted asked me to tell you a little bit about my past. I was very fortunate to be this old and still have all my faculties, okay? So I like to joke about that for a minute because, I tell customers in the showroom I still TO deals. I talk to every customer I can get my hands on because that's really how we sell cars and how we make friendship. There's a gentleman here that used to be from Route 23, right? Good to see you. So, Mark, he heard our parts business a little bit, right? So I thought about that a lot today when I saw his face. Let me just tell you how this all started. I was raised on a farm during World War II, and you recycled everything on the farm. And of course, you couldn't buy sugar and you couldn't buy flour. You got 8 gallons of gas a week, had iron tires on the tractor. So I've milked cows, I've taken care of pigs and done all those things. But I got very interested in mechanical things, very interested. So in those days, you had 2 interests you could get interested in. You get interested in farm animals or tractors and trucks and things like that. So I went off to school. I worked in an Knowles Cadillac dealer back in the 50s. And I thought, boy, if I ever got the opportunity, well, first of all, I said earlier, the Knowles Cadillac was like the most preferred franchise. And I looked at that dealer, and he had Cordovan shoes on and dark gray pants and a white shirt and a tie, and it looked like he did nothing. And he just walked around. Well, I can tell you that's not true today because I joke with my people all the time, but I don't joke about it. If you got rags on the floor, you got a bigger problem, okay? This business, our business, is really about paying attention to the most minute detail. And I brought a handout today. I didn't want to hand it, I'll hand it out when I'm done, but it's just some of the things that we do. So I started working in Oldsmobile Cadillac store in high school and going to college. And when I was in college, I got a job working in the service station. And the guy didn't like it, and I got the opportunity at 20 years old to buy it. I had $124 in a bank. My father was a director in a small bank. He said, I can't sign a note for you. If you go broke, it won't look good. He said, but I'll tell you what, your mom will go with you on Monday morning. So the oil company, I must have looked old for my age at that time, right? I was joking with somebody here today when people used to say to me, the car has a lot of miles on it, I'd tell them, it doesn't have that many miles for the amount of driving. She's in good condition for the shape she's in, right? So I always had a hell of a sense of humor, and I bought that service station for with a $5,500 loan and a note to the guy that owned it. And I always believed that, and then I got a national car rental franchise, and then I got a national car rental leasing franchise, and I accumulated some money, and I knew I wanted to be a car dealer, so I started knocking on doors, and nobody would talk to you because you're a nothing, right, from a gas station. So I finally got friendly with a guy at Oldsmobile who liked me, and he gave me the name of all dealers that didn't have sons.
Fred, do you still have that list?
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing to follow, right? Who's a successor? Because that's the only way you can buy these places today, right? So anyway, I got the opportunity to buy into a little store in Newtown, Bill Morris Ford, and I started there as a service advisor. Well, that lasted about 2 weeks because I saw a lot of things I didn't like in the showroom, and I kept pushing the dealer and pushing the dealer, and the next thing I became the used car manager, okay? Well, I've always believed, frankly, that everything starts with detail. And we've written a service quality process manual, and I brought a handout of that, some of the excerpts out of that manual. And I believe that everything, the devil lies in the detail. Now, I gave you that story about the 25% interest, okay? And I just worked hard. And one thing I do know about the automobile business, the harder you work and the nicer you are to customers, the better you're gonna do. And my guys were with me yesterday in the Toyota store. My general manager was there, right? Yep. What did you see me doing? I talked to every damn customer in that showroom, right?
Yes, you did.
Because there's nobody more charming than I am. I say that to myself, right? Who doesn't want to meet the owner, correct? Who doesn't want to feel more confident? So I'm just talking to you how important it is if you're in service, how important it is to form a relationship with a customer. People do business with people, right? And that's so very important. So I want to give you, so then we started to get interested in the parts business. And we've been very fortunate that and I wouldn't recommend it today. I would never do it again because it's taken all our cash and we're really broke all the time because you got to pay General Motors every week, okay? And you got to get paid every 60 days from the customer. But we have 90 trucks on the road. We have 300 people in our parts department. And I'm very, very proud. It's probably the only thing in my life that seems to operate kind of right because the retail automobile business has so many damn loose ends in it. It's not as professional sometimes as I'd like it to be. Well, we've grown to 20 dealerships. What I'm most proud of is our parts warehouse and what we've done with that. It's our business is a very simple business. And Ted asked me to talk about a couple of things. We have a rewards program. If you spend $2,000 with us, we put up to 15% away to $2,000. If you get a card from us, you get discounts at over 100 merchants, restaurants, and things like that in our local area. And we've redeemed their 10th million point. So actually, we've given customers back $10 million so far that have bought cars. Recently, we went to high school, and believe me, I've always been a tither. Not necessarily to the church, but to my community. And I work diligently to give at least 10% away of what we make every year back to our community because I've been a very fortunate guy to start with nothing and accumulate what we've accumulated. And it's been kind of fun. So I do have a handout, and I want to talk to you about this because my home phone number sits on every salesman's desk. And it says if you're not completely satisfied with anything that happened here today, call me at home or on my cell. On the week, if I'm not here on the weekends and on Sundays, Saturdays, Sundays, work every Saturday. But and in the month of September, where we really pushed hard to sell cars, and now I'm really going to work harder on it in December. I got 19 calls, and I got a call from a guy leaving our Nissan store that was from about 70 miles away, and I talked to him. I got him back to the Nissan store. He drove from Doylestown, Pennsylvania to Flemington, New Jersey, and drove home with a car. So it's so important. Now, I realize I'm talking about service, and I hope I'm giving you information you want, okay? We have a movie night. We have a baseball at the Reading Phillies and the Trenton Thunders, and we invite our customers, and we have about 1,500 of them. Tonight we have a movie night, and because it's Ford versus Ferrari, right? Yeah. We have about 400 people coming to the movies tonight. We work hard to get our vendors to pay for those things because really, what is it? It's friends doing business with friends, right? That's what we want. And one of the proudest things to me is I had that service station. I'll never forget this. It's a crazy story, but it was a snowy day, and they used to put chains on. And the guy blew the horn, and they used to call you chief, things like that, and I didn't like that. So I went running out to the car, and I looked inside, and I was ready to give the guy directions to nowhere. I looked inside the car, and he was a paraplegic. And I had a paradigm shift. And it just happened that we put snow tires on his car, and I got to know him. And his wife was brother was a Ford dealer. And I bought that Ford store. Isn't that funny? Yeah. I bought all those Ford stores because I had relationships with people. So it's about people doing business with people. We also, somebody joked with me last night about reading books. So I heard some of the things up here about accountability on the service menus. So there's a book. Did anybody ever hear of Dave Anderson? Yes. Yeah. Learn to Lead. And I've been through his program about 3 times. And I read it with my employees. We've had him out. So I just wanted to talk to you because now I really became an advocate of Anderson because it's all about accountability, right? It's all about presenting a service menu. It's all about doing everything every day. Every day means every day, right? And the presentation and how you greet people, because you never get a second chance to meet a man for the first time. Is that true? You size that person up just like that. Am I right? Mm-hmm. It's all over, and you can't come back and say. Now it's funny because my house is not a great house, but it's pretty perfect. And I joke, but this chair, and this is a sofa, is exactly 21 inches from that corner. okay? And that's written, because that's the one thing I want to have perfect in my life, because make so many compromises in business because people don't do what's expected of them, right? And that's our job, to hold them accountable. So Dave Anderson has a thing, I just want to call it, it's called TUF, and that's the ultimate few. They're the ultimate few things you should do, right? So if you figure out what the ultimate few are, then you should map it, right? The process. And I know that we're going to hear from a guy today that I can't wait to hear from, because he's a legend about Paragon Honda, and I hear about it all the time, and I think, boy, oh boy, you know, if I could just roll the clock back. But then you want to map it, max it, you know, it's called RAM it, and that's the rhythm of accountability. So I'd recommend that you read that book. There's another little book written by a Ford shrink, I think you knew him, Dr. Harry Cohen, and it's be the sun, not the salt. And I'm not sure I can pronounce the word, I think it's called heliotropic effect, but all plants want to grow toward the sun, right? So why the hell do we want to put salt on them? So I'd recommend you read that book, but I do believe it's the books you read and the movies you see and the people you hang around with determine. So we have the commitment, I told you about that. So going back from the 50s, we still wear dark gray pants, white shirts and ties, okay? Every day to work, our service advisors wear them, because I want to make sure that I know who I'm doing business with, and if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything, is that correct? So we have a dress code, and I put a handout out back there. It's in a box. If one of my guys want a handout, pull it out. You can pass it around back there. But it's about things we do from us. We sat down, my daughter and I, and we wrote a service quality process manual. And that service quality process manual is now up to 240 pages. So everything you need to know about, we have a manual for everything. We've written those manuals with our people. What we've done is we went and worked on it like 1 hour a week with a key group of people. We keep working on it, and it doesn't mean that we live by it, you know? It's a kind of a funny thing. I'm not a biblical guy, so don't get me wrong. So I sent my grandchildren for Christmas one year, there are 10 of them, 10 Bibles, and I outlined in there what they should read. And I said, well, listen, if you don't want to go in that far, just put the 10 Commandments in your pocket, pay attention to them, and that's good enough for me, okay? So I have two sets of rules, 2 sets of 3s, and here they are. Be first to make eye contact, be first to smile, be first to say hello, and you pretty well won the game, right? You buy that? You agree with that or not? Okay? Because the smile is contagious. And the second set of rules for 3 for employees: go to church, give 10% to charity, call your mom once a week. And I say to myself, if they do 2 out of 3, I'm in love with it. Okay? So, in the thing I put together for you is called a mystery shop form, because we find that a good manager is a good checker, right? So we have a mystery shopping form. We have a service phone script, a tire script. Anybody that comes in any one of our stores, now, supposed to, does it, rule, do we have rules or do we have policies? We have a lot of rules that have become policies. You know what they are? It means you do whatever the hell you want to do, right? But that means we still have the rules to fall back to. So I want to mention to you that when somebody comes in our dealership, we had 3 in our Ford store yesterday, and I happened to be there most of the day. They're supposed to meet the highest ranking person there in that dealership. If they're coming into that service drive, that service aisle, and we had to put their name in that computer, what could happen to that? What could be the best thing could happen? That's the start of a relationship. If they're nuts enough to come to a dealer, think they're going to pay more money, get less service, all the preconceived things that a consumer has, don't we want to start off right with them? So I want to make sure that I meet them, or my general manager meets them. And incidentally, every Friday at our dealerships, Hope, I know it goes on at 1 of them, I know it goes on at 3 of them, we have a circle meeting, all employees in a circle for 5 minutes. And we talk about all the good things that happened that week. And I didn't develop that idea. By the way, Flight Safety developed that idea. And then Lowe's adopted that. And LL Bean. So we have all our employees in a circle once a week to try to talk about those things, because we think we need. So I put the tire script together. I put a daily, a service manager, our service managers are supposed to meet once a week with the general manager. And I put in there a check sheet to conduct that meeting so that we can make sure we're staying on track. I believe everything is about discipline, process with passion, right? We have to have a lot of passion. So I don't know, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'll just plain sit down, okay? Thanks again for the opportunity. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Big question to ask, Mr. B. Do you have any sons?
No, I have 3 daughters.
If you like the sun, if you like the sun.
You know what?
Would you like us?
Don't push me too fast, right? I always worry about that, right?
Hi, this may be an urban legend, but going back to your gas station, I'm from a local area. So I had heard that when you had the gas station on the inside by the tap, you used to write their name or used to do something. Is that
Well,
true?
2 things I used to do. I used to have, because you check the oil, right? That's the damn thing you can't do today, right? So really, what, everybody said, well, what the hell do you want to pump gas for? Well, I'm joking with you, I tried to pump as much gas as I could, especially if I didn't recognize the car. Because what do I want to do, right? I want to shake hands, right? I used to go to the township building. You have to get a permit if you're moving into a community. You know about that, right? You got to go get a permit, right, to live in the house. I used to go there once a month and get the names of all the people that moved in. And I'd go knock on their door. You know what? That $124 went a long way. We really squeezed the hell out of it. But we did it with what? Personality, smile, care. You really have to love people. You really have to care. And we're second chance because, frankly, I think I've been taken advantage of more than most women. and anybody that's in business knows that's happening. But yes, I did. I put the names under there. I carried groceries in. I was joking with my guys last night. I had 3 cars. One of them cost $24. So in 1960, I was going to people's houses to pick up their car and leaving a junker there. Because what do you want to do? You want to make it easy. I say that all about when we have internal theft. I said, we got to make it easy, and we got to help them the first time. Because once they get the first shot, then it's easy to do it the second time. So if you want somebody to steal from you, you got to make it very, very easy. But you got to make it easy for the customer, right? And it is rewarding to have customers come back over the years, right? So if you have any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them. And by the way, if anybody in here buys auto parts, I'd love to have the opportunity. Okay?